All right, so welcome back to another video, everyone. And today I'm going to be talking about if you're using a dialer, what should you do? And I think a lot of people are going to think that I'm about to just, what's the word I'm looking for? Will take a dump all over cold calling, and that's actually not what I'm going to do today. Believe it or not, I think cold calling can be a very great way to build not only your skills as a communicator and as a salesperson, as a business owner. It's also a great way to build a client base, especially to start with as well. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using a dialer or using cold calling as a method to growing your business in the first place. And well, I'm going to get into exactly why. So, if you're using a dialer, totally okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely no shame in it. I just think perhaps there is maybe a better way of going about business and getting more of the results that you're actually looking for. So, let's just get it. So, if you're using a dialer and you're cold calling, you probably get some of these common misconceptions, right? So, one of them being, well, cold calling doesn't work, or cold calling is outdated. Absolutely not true. When I started doing, my business that I have right now, cold calling was a part of my strategy with me and my business partner. I didn't do quite as much of it as he did. I was more on the email and digital outreach side of things. He went sometimes even knocking on doors and doing a little bit of cold calling to get things started up, and that's how we got a couple of our first clients was through that. So it definitely still works. We've seen other guys that are still doing it right now. It's definitely a hard strategy, and I'll get into that later. But it definitely is not outdated. People still are picking up their phones, and people are still interested in finding out about new business opportunities. So both of those things still coexist, and when you have that, you can have a world where dialers are still effective, and you can power through phone numbers and continue. Just calling people and setting them on appointments and getting them turned into clients. The other thing that I hear all the time as well is that cold calling doesn't scale. And my response to that would be really. And let's just take a look over here, if this website will ever load, at Inside Sales and what they did. Cold calling is not dead. How we built $1.1 million in pipeline using the phone. And now they go over this fantastic article. I will link it in the description so that you guys can see not only this, but also their company. They tell you exactly how they built their business with cold calling. Really great guys here over at Inside Sales. So take a look at that if you get the chance. Yeah, cold calling still works, and there's still people scaling businesses with cold calling. So yeah, cold calling still definitely is a great way to scale a business, and it is scalable, right? So like I said, go check that article. I'm not going to talk about their business right now. I'm just kind of clearing up some of the common misconceptions that happen around cold calling. So the truth about cold calling is a little bit brutal, right? And it is an absolute slog. You need to be hyper consistent. I find with at least 100 calls a day to get anywhere with cold calling, right? And that is a grind. Finding those phone numbers, being consistent with calling every single day, day in, day out, week in, week out, getting, enough clients to actually sustain yourself and do what you need to do. It's hard, right? So cold calling is not, necessarily an easy thing to do. It's very simple in the practice of it, but I often think simple things aren't necessarily easy, right? If I tell you to, climb up a mountain with 200 pounds on your back, it's a very simple thing to do. It's not a hard task from a logistical standpoint, but it is not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult to do that. Same thing at the gym. Just lift this weight, this way, or do this or that. It's a simple motion, but it's not an easy thing to do, or it shouldn't be if you're in the gym and going hard. Now, that being said, the other thing about cold calling is it's a skill that absolutely gets better with time, and you're going to start slow. So that's what I noticed with cold calling, especially what my business partner noticed with cold calling. And anyone who's done cold calling will tell you it's a skill. When you start off, you're horrible, you don't know what you're doing, and you need to continue to put in the time, put in the work to get better at it. And you're going to start slow. So you're eventually going to get there and kind of get up there, but it's a skill. You're going to get better with time, and just realize that you're going to have to put in the work and put in the hours to really be able to develop that skill. An average conversion rate on your cold calls is also going to be 1 to 3%. So you need to be able to handle getting rejected a lot. And that can be mentally deteriorating, right? It can be debilitating, constantly getting rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected again, right? Like, we as people like to get validation. We as human beings don't like to be rejected all day long. So you kind of have to fight that urge. But that's why I know so many guys who are doing cold calling and they're making a killing doing it, because they're able to push through. They're able to handle that rejection and get there. But some people can't. So you just need to be, stronger than those people and able to handle that pressure and handle getting rejected, realizing it's not the end of the world, and realizing it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. So if you can handle that, right? So if you haven't started cold calling and you think you can handle that, or if you're doing cold calling, you know you can handle that, I'm going to tell you how to make your life 1,000 times easier, right? So instead of cold calling people who have absolutely no idea about your product, your service, whatever it is, why don't you call people who are a warmed up audience? Now, you can do this a couple ways. You can do this paid, or you can do this organically as well. What I'm recommending is Facebook lead generation with a great offer in exchange for a phone number on the form, right? So what you can do is you can put a quick ad out on Facebook saying, hey, I have this offer to give to you. Let's say you're a financial advisor and maybe you built out this PDF a while ago on how to repair your credit. I have this free PDF I want to give to you, how to repair your credit. Just all you have to do is give me your phone number. I'll get in contact and I'll send it to you right away. Cool. You get a whole bunch of phone numbers from that. It's a very simple offer, very effective offer. You get people on the phone. You get a huge increase in conversion rate, right? Because these people know when you speak with them on the phone, oh yeah, I just filled out that guy's ad. They're familiar with you now, and now they're in the position where they don't really have the leverage because they're no longer a stranger. They filled out your form, they asked to be contacted, and now they're being contacted. So the increase in conversion rate that you're going to get is monumentally bigger. And you don't have to pay Facebook necessarily a large fee per se. You can just pay them a small fee. That's perfectly and totally fine. But if you're able to get warm people into your audience and do that through a form, very, very good way of being able to actually take those cold calls and really do what would be now warm calls, right? You're going to get a huge increase in your conversion rate. You're going to get on far more sales calls and close far more clients than you were before. So now most of your calls, instead of being cold outbound calls to people, you can maybe even have inbound calls and people calling you if you put your phone number on the form or on your contact information, wanting to know how they can get the offer that you're providing them, right? So you're going to close more clients as well when you just simply are getting a higher success rate when you pick up the phone, and 50 to 75% of the time the people actually pick up on the other end and they know who you are. It's going to lead to a huge increase in your conversion rate, as well as more sales calls and closing more of those clients as well. And you also can scale this system with great ease, right? So you could start by paying Facebook a small fee. Maybe it's $500, get a few leads from there. You cold call or warm call, I guess, a lot of the people who you got from that list. Say you get 50 people for $500, cold call all of them, 1 or 2 clients out of that. That's pretty poor math, but whatever. If you're able to do that, you're just starting out. It's the first time you're doing it. Clients worth $1,500, you pour all that in ads, and the next time that clients are worth like $3,000, you pour $3,000. So you can keep continuing to scale this system and continue to get more clients off of it. It's a self-sustaining, beautiful system that you can do with lead generation. The other thing you can do as well is, if you're not looking to actually pay Facebook any money, you can also get people to join your Facebook group. You would have to go and kind of direct message people on Facebook and ask them to join your group and say, hey, the value that I'm going to give away is my credit repair audit. And in that form, to actually be approved to join the Facebook group, you can include their phone number and then give them a call as well. So that's another way of doing it. I recommend between those two ways, actually starting even if it's just a small amount of money doing Facebook ads, I think it's going to really, really help and change the trajectory and course of your business. But yeah, if you want to do it organically, you can do it that way too. So that is how you make your life easier when you're cold calling. Do a little bit of warm calling, mix in some lead generation in there. You can do it super easily. Um, if you're interested in what we do to generate leads and you want to know more about that, what we have done for you, multi-dimensional lead generating process. We generate leads on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. We also do others as well, but that's really the main three that we push and really promote. But yeah, we have a done for you system. That means lead generation is super easy. It's plug and play for you. You don't have to worry about any of the lead generation. We take care of all of that. We also have a lead nurturing process to capture more lead conversion, right? So we have a lead nurturing process that sends out emails. We send out text messages, whatever else that we can. Any contact point that we get, we'll send out stuff blasted to all the leads and prospects you have in your list to make sure that they're actually getting on a call with you and closing into a client. Because what's the point in generating 1 million leads if you can't close any of them? It's better to generate 2 leads and close both than 1 million and only close 1. We also have appointment setters, which mean you can take yourself out of cold calling forever. Because even if you're in cold calling, even if you're doing it and it's working for you, it's still not something that you want to be doing your entire life. I know that. I know that you're not passionate about cold calling. You're passionate about the money that you get from doing it. So we have appointment setters who will take care of that for you to make sure that you don't have to actually even reach out to the leads when they come through. You'll have appointment setters doing that, and we can take you out of cold calling forever. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested, feel free to shoot me a comment on this video, shoot me a DM over on Facebook, Instagram, whatever works best for you. Hope you were able to find this video valuable. Hope this video was able to kind of give shed some more light on cold calling and how it can actually be a really great way to grow your business. For those of you who are cold calling, I hope this video was able to help you make your life easier and you're able to implement some of this stuff and some of the lead generation or even building a Facebook group to just get more warm calls in your system. But yeah, with that said, talk to you next time. Peace.